Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Hope everybody's rested up and ready. All right. So, as I said, markets are firing on all cylinders. It's great. The big, beautiful bill, so to speak, has been signed. The tariff thing maybe is coming to some conclusion. We'll see what happens, right? July 9th, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, to the markets. Acceleration out of this base. So starting out with the Dow, we don't look at the Dow all the time, but I thought it was something to check out since it's one of some that haven't hit new all-time highs yet. And maybe that's in the cards for this week. We'll see. Um, the old highs are up here. It's just underneath it. And yeah, that would be a good question, Robert. Well, I don't know who signed up, who signed the agreement already. Maybe that's said. I don't know. Um, So it's up near this resistance area. It's within striking distance of pushing up above the old highs. Um, this as far as any doubters, the media, what they like to say, promoting, and think the Dow making new all-time highs would kind of add to the probability that the markets are close to some kind of retracement correction, which could be sideways. Um, Should things continue to move higher with momentum this week, the concern is the distance between support, minor support, major support, moving averages. Um, so the further prices move to the upside after prices have been in an uptrend for a while, and it increases the probability of some kind of deeper pullback. We'll see what happens. As far as this bar goes, my little dot there. Um, and today, two bar consolidation and kind of it's not a wide range bar, but the range expanded a bit and it cleared these two highs. So, you can see a little mini breakout, which because this is extended in the short term away from the moving averages, it would be slightly bearish to close below that bar's low. So, as one of our rules, support and resistance rules, kind of a subsection of all the concepts that we cover in MT Live. The first reference point of support is a prior bar's low. Just not that it's meaningful in a way of, in the context of a trend. The second reference point is the pivot low, the swing low. And so the distance between the swing low, major support, and where prices are at give us an objective guidance as to extended, not overbought, but I'm sure just based on this kind of price action, people that are using oscillators, their oscillators are overbought. Um, so whole number, major resistance, can it push above, make new all-time highs? It's short-term extended, and we'll see what happens over the coming week. Whatever news comes out as to, at some point, prices are going to pull back. And as time goes on, we're just going to see how much they pull back. Um, how they pull back, meaning one of the things to be looking for is, does this, let's say like things are down here a little bit right now. Um, say we get a red day today, it's not a wide range bar. Right? So if we see, I'm just talking about the Dow here, but just XYZ, whatever it might be, it begins to pull back with a range expansion topping tail or a big nasty red bar, gaps up reversal. Common sense. That's a more meaningful, potent reversal. Whereas if you get a narrow range bar, reversal, green bar, red bar, not a big deal. Uh, Now, the little breakout there on a short-term basis, yeah, to day traders, active traders like us, we're interested in that kind of stuff, right? But to get a V top and it begins to pull back, that pullback will be viable. So we'll see how this progresses. Right? We'll get to where things are at right now. Firing on all cylinders. Transports broke out. We've been talking about it for a while. Consolidating, broke out, wide range bar. Looks great. Room to go toward the next resistance area. Little extended from the 20. So uptrend should go higher. Nothing complicated. NASDAQ 100, similarly, consolidation. I've got to drag that up there, put it out of the way, new all-time highs. Little consolidation. So, not exactly like the Dow, right? It had the 2 bars. This is kind of like 4 bars of a little consolidation. So you got a little larger consolidation here. And if you remember the things we talk about each morning, one of the things that we talked about, I pointed out was, hey, look at this little head and shoulders top here. So I erased it. And at the time I pointed out, and I was like, does it violate that support, the neckline? And it didn't. It continued to move higher. So whether I look at it in the 65-minute chart or I look at here, I see this consolidation. That's in a short-term significant reference point of support. Does it violate it? So let's look at the Qs since we can see the overnight data, see where things are at. And I got my little green line there. You can see the little head and shoulders top. And where are they at here? Gapping down to Thursday's low. And there's a little unfilled gap there, support. And so minor support, deeper retracement. Let's see if it holds here. Let's see what it's going to do. Ideally, it holds above this area, goes sideways, and markets continue to go higher. So transports can go higher. That's a good thing. These have been leading. If they're going to correct a bit here for whatever reason, let it hold in this area, fill the gap, chop around, and we'd look to go higher. And so these patterns do not present us with a bias to buy, not at all. Now, as a day trader, pulling back into the unfilled gap, intraday chart, something forms, looking for this to go higher. We'll see how that sets up. If this was gapping down under that low, it still would be in an uptrend, but we'd be thinking a bit differently about today. Today may be just a consolidation day, everybody coming back from holiday weekend, and July 9th coming. Now it's like, if you don't sign up, something's going to happen by August 1st, right? There's been another little flip-flop kind of thing going on here, which really is unsettling. How many flip-flops have been going on? It's kind of crazy. But anyway, technical traders, the trend is up. Prices are above the 20, 20 is above the 50, 50's crossed above the 200, so on and so forth. Little cross there. And prices are a little extended away from moving averages. So the probability of some kind of a retracement is increasing. Black and white, nothing difficult there. Spiders, a little bit more extended. And so just eyeballing this, but there's the little consolidation. Let's move this up, new all-time highs, same analysis, where's prices, gapping down a little bit, 65-minute chart is live. And I think that looks like a bad tick, that little bottoming tail bar there. So it's really, let's just call it in the middle of no man's land. And it's not down to this support level yet to fill the gap. You see the acceleration move, and it held. Right? It held. It's just going sideways. There were sellers into this gap from overnight to now, and it leads me to think that as far as the markets go, sit on hands until we get some clarity as to which way things might go here. Right? But uptrend, short term extended. Not interested in buying this as far as a swing trade goes, of course. And one of the things I wrote in the weekend letter is don't buy anything that's far from the 20, not without some kind of correction bar, right? Because the probability of the markets retracing in the near term is increasing, right? And we're going to look at our market internals. So with that being said, if we're going to buy something, let's buy the underperformers that can play catch up, right? Some of the transports possibly. The Russell 2000 started to play catch up, right? That began to accelerate last week. So now we have a minor support level, we have a major support level, and we've got distance between the 20. Here's the 200 that it couldn't get through. It punctured through it. Where is it at right now? Gapping down under Thursday's low. Right? It's got room to fall. Let's see if it can hold. Looking at this area here, that's about, I guess, this unfilled. No, it's actually below the unfilled gap. It's inside of that bar from the second. In any event, this is on a short-term basis. This broke out. It's got a little room to pull back. Positive. It's not near resistance. That's further away over here. So buyers should show up based on this. Now, always two scenarios. What if it comes all the way down here? Something's wrong. Right? Don't need any special indicators for that. If prices break out of a consolidation with momentum, the buyers should show up expecting it to go higher. If it comes all the way down here, we don't need any crystal ball or gurus or whatever. It's common sense. Right? Something went wrong, whatever that might be. So it's not time to buy. It's, like I said, in the middle of no man's land, so to speak, meaning we buy near support. We buy after correction bars, right? If it's not near support, and we don't have either of that. So there's nothing to do here. As a day trader, if you want to short it, things are starting to move down. If there's a setup for that, well, you know where support is, and so on. All right. Let's do SPX and get it out of the way. I haven't even looked at this yet. So we'll look at the futures. Right. So spiders gapping down to yesterday's low. They got room to go lower. We don't have any significant reference point. Well, short term, in the short term for today, this is very significant here with that cluster of bars there. So if there is a put spread premium down below that, and we'll look at SPX, that could be interesting. Gapping down like this, how far above is their premium? We'll take a look at that. The trend is up, but we like to fade intraday moves that move down to where buyers should show up. And by the way, this is going to be part of MT Live this week, so it should be very interesting with McGraw. And I hope he doesn't get too deep into the black hole. He starts talking about charm and Varna and all that. I think it'll be too much brain damage, but let's see what happens. I'm going to, hopefully we just stick to, market maker action and all that kind of stuff. All right. 61. All right. Let's spread this out a little bit. All right. So it's opening up around here. There's an unfilled gap. We definitely want to be on the other side of that, and ideally below here. And my initial look, and I'm going to assume that the markets are going to attempt to go lower at the open. And so I'm going to pick, well, it's changed already. All right, we have to go with 61.85, which, this is moving down a little bit. We're on the other side of where I want it to be. And the premiums could increase beyond that if things continue to move lower. All right, so 6,200, this is below a whole number. There's support there. Around this area, anywhere below should be fine. And 62.90. Interesting. This is going up and the others, this is going up and this went down. 62.95. I think that means it was just confusion. Like I said, I think most are just going to be kind of waiting to see which way things start to shake out early on. I think this is a no-brainer up there. Well, I think you'd have to do it close to the open since things are down here, and I'm assuming things are going to go down a little bit and try to come down and fill that gap where, and somewhere in here is where buyers are going to want to be, which should push this lower. So uptrend, short term, extended. Look where the 20 is. If for some reason it just rips up in the morning, in the morning, the market opens up and things are down and it flips right back up again, this might get above 6,300, which would be ideal. So little extended, unfilled gap. Those are our reference points. And you can see the little cluster right there at 6,200. That should be a good area where buyers should want to show up since the trend is up. If it doesn't hold there, maybe some news comes out, who knows? We'll just see how it develops. All right, VIX, it's low. Take my word for it, it's low. Doesn't matter that much. Interest rates, been trending down, and that's the 5-year. The 10-year is trending down. It's still within this trading range, within a trading range. It's coming up into resistance. You want to set an alert above 4.4. The 50s there. If it was to poke up above there, interest rates going up, markets might not like that so much in the short term. But we'll see if this begins to roll back over again. Internals quickly coming up into the area that's going to be risk off. And so sentiment gauge, just touching the line. Should markets go up, Dow makes new all-time highs. This should push up into that upper band. This one is already close. Breadth has improved with the transports and the Russell moving up. Any extra strength should push it up to the top. All right, so we've already got our internals confirming that we're getting close to some kind of correction, sideways, pullback, whatever it might be. We'll see how that unfolds. All right. Yeah, we could look at the futures, but, they're not going to tell us much more. Stall, right? Dow futures there. Do they break below these lows? You can see all the pivot lows there on a short-term basis. Intraday would be meaningful. Yeah. You got the NASDAQ futures consolidation. Could have a move back down. If should we get some kind of a move down to the bottom of this area, the trend would still be up. There's no pivots here. Right? A little bit of a concern short term, but not a big deal. S&Ps, same story, not a big deal. What's going on this morning? Really not much of anything. Just, retracing here a little bit. There was a little buy setup. And so what does that tell us? It tells us that traders are not too aggressive. They're not continuing to buy. Whatever buying the dip there was, it failed on the 5-minute chart. On the 65-minute chart, it's just sideways. It held at minor support. It's going sideways here. SOH, sit on hands. As far as the markets go, Russell chopping sideways, a little bit of a nasty kind of a sell-off there. Right? Momentum to the downside on a 5-minute chart. It's on this support level. We'll see if that holds. Bitcoin trading range. Just, kind of looked like it was going to roll a little bit last week. Then it didn't. It's at the top of the range. Will it tighten up? If it tightens up and hangs here for a couple of days, I suspect it goes higher. Right? Gold is in a trading range. It rolled over here a little bit. It's in the middle of the range. Here's the big range. It's in the middle of the range. Stay away. It's late already. Silver sideways. Oil. We'll see which way it goes. So I think going in today, it's a SOH morning, and we'll see what unfolds. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Everyone had a very long weekend. And it was hard finding quality setups this weekend. Sometimes, when you get the turn, they're shooting ducks on a pond. They're everywhere, but and we'll go through a bunch of examples as Greg was saying. Well, here's one right here. Alarm went off close to support and close to the 20. So this was one of our long picks in the letter. My up alarm went off. There has to be some news because that's a big wide range up down. So we'll wait 5 minutes, but perfect example. I think markets are always worried about stuff, but the which ones are more important at the time vary. So remember a few weeks ago, it was the Iran war, and then that didn't last very long. And because I remember saying, oh, okay, this war is going to take precedence over tariffs and, debt, everything else. So now we're back to tariffs. Is what I'm getting at. So Trump, I think, started this on Friday because the futures were actually down. The equity markets were closed, but I saw the futures were down 40. And I think it's, he's back on his tariff things. And then Elon Musk fighting with him again. So they're getting punished. I think this is the market just saying, would you just focus on your work already and just stop being an old rich baby and fighting with people and stay out of politics? So, this is been a good trading stock, but as of right now, I'm not gonna. Ideally, it sells off to these prior lows or lower. Lower the better. We were trading it on this little collapse over here. We had a lot of nice trades in here on that turn. XLY alarm. This is an open position. So it looked great, but I see another example close to the 20 and support. So we got into that on, holidays messed me up. So we got into the on Wednesday, the second day over there. So perfect entry there. But consumer discretionary, so that looks like a sign of risk off again. Also, cyber. We're in this in the ETF letter. Oh, it looks like my up alarm went off, but these things still don't have any volume right now. Let me just reset it. Bull alarm. This is an open position. We sold a third. on Friday. It's crazy volume on this breakout, and I've been watching this ever since it was an IPO. And I've been saying in the green room over and over again, like, what is wrong with this company? It can't get out of its own way. And now I read that they are having money problems, so they have to issue stock to I don't know, a hedge fund or something to give them a lifeline. But we still haven't. I said move stop 5 minute low, and we still haven't opened profit. So it's just unfortunately eating away at some of our profits. Those are all my alarms. And let's see what we got down here. Cores. Look at that crazy move pre-market. 21 bucks. Now getting slammed down here, but no setup. This curve is another IPO I've been watching for months. Um, on this crazy rally, we were shorting naked calls like over 100 points higher. It was just crazy. But I'm watching. I mean, it's a consolidation pattern, believe it or not. But the weekly is still very toppy. So when my alarm went off here, I was hoping 30-minute low would give us another naked call situation. Amazon has their Prime. Remember, Prime Day turned into 2 days, and now it's Prime Week. It goes from tomorrow to Friday. But typically, it's had a positive effect on Prime Week, and the chart's bullish, but obviously not going to do anything if the markets keep selling off here. But we always watch the things. Autodesk got an upgrade. I say that would have been a good one to get into last week too. It's grinder strong. Not entering it now though. MKTX, I think, had earnings, but I don't see any prints. These two guys are getting a pop from, they run something in the prison system. They're getting a pop on some money from the legislation that passed. Tesla, we looked at Mo. Mo got whacked on Wednesday. And I think they came out and gave some more numbers, but it's flat. I will watch it. CMP. It's a short watch. Has this prior low over here, but I like the weekly bearish consolidation. AIZ, bear 1, 2, 3. AIG, bear 1, 2, 3. These would be beautiful calls for these are just no-brainer call spread candidates, but unfortunately no premium. And I wasn't crazy about the reward to risk on this one, but I'd set up for day trading. Target alarm. That's the bottoming pattern. Sky alarm. I'm in this one myself. Let me tick negative 900. AD line negative 12 and change, but 5-minute charts are finding bottom fishers here at the market open. Circle. Yeah, that's another one of those. Now it looks good for a bounce. I know you've been talking about it the last few days and I didn't like it, but now I do for a day trade because it's clearing 1, 2, 3, 4 bars, red bar ignored, bullish pre-market. Actually pretty bullish day on Thursday there also. ARC G. This is
If
another.
anybody's gonna do that trade, you better make sure you share size it appropriately. It moves and it needs a big stop. And it's near pivot highs on the 65-minute chart, so I agree it should go up, but you better share size it appropriately. Or you may just stop out at the low, some low. Or wait for it to go sideways here. Maybe it goes sideways for an half hour or so and then breaks out. Whatever. Just sharing my thoughts on it. I like it.
Easy in. Alarm, 30-minute low, could be a day trade. EVO, we bought this on Friday, but you all see these, I'm just pointing out these examples of what Greg was saying, and I always say that, when something close to the 20 in support. But that was a buy setup and a 1, 2, 3. So that you could even buy Thursday's high if you're not in it. Wow, Applehead. Remember, this one was on borrowed time. And remember, somebody in the room asked me about going long, and I said, no, it's not a good W bottom. It had to clear all that resistance. So that stopped out Applehead. Target. Oh, that was an early alarm, so nothing. I had an alarm at break even on that. Let's reset it lower. But, yeah, Q's gunning for a new low here. Well, that was a strange little bounce at the open. I know you could have short covering, whatever, but it's quite a big turn in 4 minutes here, up and back down. This IO and Q, let's cancel that. Gap's too big. Well, yeah, again, it's all over the place. So let's just cancel it. Um, yeah, it was a put spread also. Let's cancel it there too, because this looks like news. I don't want to get involved in something moving around that much. BDX bottoming pattern, but it has to clear last week's high or no interest. EHC, see another one close to the 20. There was an article in Barron's about these GE stocks. as dividend payers. ANAB, bull rectangle, relative strength. SIG, say another one. The 1, 2, 3, close to the 20 in support. Jeffrey, same. Oils. Oh, I see gold down. The oil is going to be a naked put over last week's high. AIZ 1, 2, 3, but now it's bouncing relative strength, so probably won't trigger. This one I like better. ACGO 1, 2, 3. I actually don't have that much inventory, believe it or not. We are long this, and we have a put spread. Opens here. Akamai, remember I said this one's just a dead animal. Bull. Bull. Yeah, let's just kill this thing. Sure. Sure. Bull. Tour. I don't know what tour bull means. You mean poor? Yeah, they said they need to raise some money. But wait, have profit? Oh, your bull. Well, I was in the put spread and I took mine expired last Friday. So I made my money. Felt this. Circle. All right, there's your circle. And man, that thing trades wildly. What's the other one that I said? Curve. Yeah, I'm gonna set an alarm at 156. Wow, my last alarm was a low alarm of 175. So it's already fallen a lot from before. General is dead money. Rig T. We sold some of the strength. Still in that. Rockwell. We're in trail mode. Stop. It's 339 and change. Let's move the stop now to the day's low. 342.88. rock. And we only have a third left, but we're in trail mode. Mhm. All right, slow morning so far. Oh, Sam, I didn't look at your list. Let's do it now, actually. Excess earnings, no pattern. All right, Sam's list. Corning. It's a grinder, relative strength. I'm not interested on grinders with the market being toppy. Nice. Strong. I'd wait for the market. No, it's really not a great pattern. It's not a buy setup, it's not a 1, 2, 3. It's kind of just a vanilla breakout. But if we can do maybe puts under 180. Yep, there's your VNOM. Triple M. Nah, I don't like that one. Unless it goes sideways more. I don't like that at all. You got, all these attempts to break out. You got resistance over there. ABO, we're in. Carg. And then prior highs. It trades too sloppy, all the overlapping bars. If it goes sideways, a few more bars. I like consolidations in the top half, a wide range igniting. So I'll leave that one on the list. Tomo, it's a bottoming pattern. If you get a pullback in reversal, it's worth watching. I think I looked put spread last week and there was nothing. Oh, strong, needs to consolidate. SCCO. Same, needs to consolidate. Dollar General, we're in, it's dead money. SCI, we have a little breakout failure there. It's messy overlapping bars. Burke. Yeah, set an alarm. Yeah, set an alarm. 48.22. Tesla bottom right there, making new lows. Zulu too messy, prior high. Rusu bottoming pattern, but too late. Need a pullback. MSI. Top of the range. Pepsi. Need a pullback and reversal. Yeah, my Uber alarm actually went off pre-market. Looks good. That looks good. You can do 30-minute high. I like the 15 also as an igniting bar. Yeah, it's an igniting bar. That'd be a good put spread. Patrick, let me look. That's China, so you always get that China risk. 0 by 109. But it has a nice void. That's a bottoming pattern. All the flat MAs. It looks good. Oh, back to Sam's list, LPX. Be a good put spread if there's anything down there at 85, but I doubt it. IONQ. Yeah, so when we had canceled it. Expedia. Strong. Was 1, 2, 3. And look, I like the 15 also. If you, I love day trading 15-minute 1, 2, 3s as a 30-minute high. So that could be a day trade if the market decides it wants to rally. I'd wait for a 1, 2, 3 30-minute high though. Go in. I need a reversal. And goggle. No, there's no pattern whatsoever. It's rallied to the top of a trading range and wide range bar. Yeah, Owen looks fine. Just need a reversal. Keep an eye on it. DSM. That's not bad. I'll keep it on the list. Set the prior high, but it's a little pseudo 1, 2, 3. Weekly, monthly look higher. I like the bull flag on the weekly. The flagpole, a rectangular flag, whatever. It's just not ready. It's not ready, but it has potential. Yes. Yeah, it's a 1, 2, 3, although, that would be your target, the support, so 95, so the reward to risk is out of whack for a swing. Let day trade. But no. Yeah, sell setup, topping tail, not bad. I know I had a couple other REITs shorts when I was doing my scanning also. Yeah, you just on this ON, you just need a pattern in an entry. You don't have one yet. Pull back. S 5 minute. Well, but there's no, remember, we're pattern traders. And just because something pulls back to support is not a pattern. So for me, we all have our own methodology and checklist. Oh, well, you said 5 minutes. Let's see if there's a pattern on that. Okay. So 5 minute was a buy setup, but then you get into other concepts. There's multiple time frames, the market. I'm for a 5 minute scalp. That's fine, Don. So I stand corrected. That was a 5 minute buy setup on support. I started making comments on the 15. Getting a little bounce here. Look at this. Alex, look, my trade station. Oh, no, never mind. It looked like it was grabbing beta on Friday. Yeah, yeah, that's what's messing me up here because usually my pre-market is not this long. So that's what happened on Thursday. The markets closed at 1 and it kept printing. So it went all the way to 1600. That's what's throwing me off here on my 15-minute chart today. I just had a keys alarm go off. I think, Alex, this is your list. There was no premium for put. I already looked over the weekend. Poor Tesla's getting creamed. But Tesla said, not Tesla, Musk came out and said he wants to form a new party, whatever he called it, American Liberation, whatever he called it.
I'm gonna join.
Well, I was just gonna open my mouth and say, I agree. I agree with him because however many years y'all have been in this room, my view is I think our two-party system is broken. I guess it just makes no sense to me that everybody just votes their party line and everything's, I'm like, you do know my point. So I think our current system is broken. I think everyone should be independent. Look at Meta here moving on the 15. That looks higher. Hey, curve, little alarm. Has to take out Thursday's low, but I need to start looking at the juice bar to get ready. So I just look at we just look at the quotes and as Greg does in his SPX and you say, well, where's their money? In the 180s, naked or or 90 cents. So that's not the premium that it used to be. Craig, you remember I was selling like the $430 calls for $2. It was just off the charts, ridiculous. So now they're yeah, see, and the implied volatility is 110%, whereas back then the implied volatility was 240. And see, that's what implied volatility is telling you is how much of a Rottweiler is the option market pricing in for volatility. That's what it is. Well, Sam, I'm with you there also. And we only had like three or four of them step up. And guess what? They lost. Do you remember that song? Remember that song? I fought the law and the law won. That's what these guys should be. They should have their own song. I tried to be fiscally conservative and vote against that stupid big bill, and I lost. That's that's the song. And Craig, maybe you can have ChatGPT make us a song on that. I fought the swamp, and the swamp won. Because so that's the answer, is Sam, is swamp. You heard my solution last week is there were other good parts in it about border security and et cetera. I would have said whatever the deficit you are creating, I think they said 3.8 trillion, adding to the deficit, then I would have lowered the tax benefit by that amount. So then I got a balanced budget. That would have been my solution. The line get against us needs to hold right here, which I can tell by these bars. An hourly chart should be support if you look to the left. Engine. Yeah, yeah, I like the closing breakout. Everything. Set alarm 14:05. Starbucks still looking good. Yeah, the law of one. That's a funny song. Um, Roblox was, wow, that's relative strength. I had this as a call spread under last week's low, but obviously didn't trigger. Um, EPS. That's not going to trigger either. XOP. Sierra Golf. Yeah, it was hard. Fix this weekend. Oh, nice little slow burner.